The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, a la Shmoop. What do Captain Underpants, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn all have in common? Give up? They are a few of the most frequently banned books in this country. Huck Finn, in fact, has been on the list of the country's top 100 banned books for several decades, sometimes even making it into the top 10. Published in 1885, Huck Finn tells the story of a young boy and a runaway slave as they journey on a raft down the Mississippi River. So what is it about this novel that is still upsetting people more than 125 years later? Today, most schools and libraries ban Huck Finn because of one simple reason: its language. Mark Twain's colorful prose introduced a new style of writing, the use of vernacular, or native dialect. Huck was uneducated, poor, and a product of his time. He was a troublemaker, and he cursed like a sailor. He used one of the most offensive racial slurs of all time, the N-word, and he used it a lot, 219 times to be exact. Critics cried when the novel was published, "What's the point? It's vulgar, unnecessary, inappropriate." They argued that children should not be exposed to such offensive language. Well, Twain fired back, writing, "Censorship is telling a man he can't have a steak just because a baby can't chew it." Twain's supporters say that Huck Finn forces readers to acknowledge America's own past. They say his use of the N-word and other words like Injun reflect our history, but critics didn't buy it. So they suggested that Twain replace the N-word with black or African American to make the novel less offensive. While there is no doubt that the word is offensive, it is historically accurate and reflective of Huck's time, and that eliminating it or replacing it with, quote, less offensive, unquote, words would whitewash the reality of the novel. So was Twain's use of the N-word justified and truthful, or excessive and unnecessary? Whether you agree or disagree with his writing style, one thing is certain. With Huck Finn, Twain painted a colorful portrait of what pre-war life was like along the Mississippi at the turn of the century, warts and all.
Ew.
Shmoop amongst yourselves.